Hello everybody, Flick here. It's time for yet another Let's Look At, and today we're taking a look at Warhammer 40,000 Mechanicus by Bulwark Studios. It's currently, as you can probably see in the bottom right there, a alpha build. It's a turn-based tactical game. The alpha build they've sent me has 4 missions, I think, including the tutorial. I played it through in its entirety, so we're going to share some first impressions, but do keep in mind it's an alpha build. They themselves have said here there's a lot of things to come, balancing quality assurance, polish. There's cutscenes missing, there is various other things missing. It's a very early look for a game that's not due out until mid-November. So please do keep that in mind. I'm going to load into an earlier save of mine where I still have a couple of the missions to do. So that is this one. It'll also give me a chance to gauge the volume because that menu music was silent. So if you aren't familiar, the Adeptus Mechanicus they live on Mars in the 40k universe, and they're very obsessed with machinery and serving the Omnissiah, which is the machine spirit, or god, or ghost, I forget now. They're obsessed with machines, they want to be closer to machines, so most of them are, in part, or almost entirely, machine. They're very logical thinking, they don't get driven by emotion, etc. And in this particular game, their nemesis is a Necron tomb world, or I guess just the Necron army in general, but one or more tomb worlds that they're looking for secrets on. The story is imparted by, well, there is kind of voice acting, but they make mumbly robotic noises, so it's mostly done just through some text we'll see as we take a mission. But the game is essentially built into 3 stages. You've got this one, which is you're on your ship, you're preparing your team, leveling up, spending resources. Then you have the mission overview, which we'll take a look at in a second, and then finally you have the battle menu itself, which is very similar to kind of like XCOM, sort of. We'll see once we get into it fully. But we can take a quick look at what's available in this build. The tech tree, it's very menu heavy, thankfully, because this is early. They've given you a lot of pre-built tech priests, which we'll look at in a second once we go to our cohort. So I didn't need to worry too much, because if I did, it's very menu heavy. I think they specifically said in the email that the alpha build was like mid to late game difficulty missions, or mid game-ish, and not super basic. So that's why they gave you pre-built tech priests. But yeah, the weapons here are all the ones that have been found, or in this case all the ones the developers have given to the build. And there's obviously some more to get. Mission menu we're just on. There's also obviously other things. Oh, I hadn't actually checked this menu. Backpack fragments are bonus abilities you can use in combat. We'll see this one getting used a lot and this one getting used a lot, because they're the two that I think I have equipped on everybody. Let's take a look at the cohort. So if you're familiar with the 40k board game, you'll probably recognize some of the models here, but for the purposes of the game, there's 2 categories of unit. There is tech priests and there is troops. The tech priests are these named ones down here. The troops are, they're not unique, they're just troop types, I guess is the way to think of it. And they do different things depending on what you bring. They have different values, they have different costs. The tech priests are the bit where you can really get into the nitty-gritty of customizing them. Oh, let me just check. Can you customize them at all? No, you can't. Okay, yeah, it is just the tech priests. So if we take a look at, say, Lex Mechanic here. This was a lot to take in when I first looked at this screen. So again, I'm very thankful that they gave you pre-built builds. But you have like passive perks, you have repair costs if they're wounded, disciplines, which are essentially stats, or spells, I guess you could say, which I've already kind of just went through for everybody. I'm curious if I have anything I can put in any of these unused slots. What is this? Whatever that is, it doesn't have an explanation yet, so no, I won't touch it just in case. Oh, these are like tech arms, and then yeah, that's a leg upgrade, that's a backpack upgrade. I guess I'm using all the ones I currently have because there's none appearing in this list. That's alright, but that's just one example of a potential tech priest. I want to make sure that everyone is healed. 10, 10, 10, 10, because I think I thought I got wounded on the first mission I did. Anyway, we don't need to customize, but if you are looking for a lot of customization, it looks like the main game itself will offer you the chance. Generally, you want someone who's built to be a bit of a healer, you want somebody who's a heavy hitter, but there is a mechanic in the combat that's very particular about the weapons that can be used, which we'll get into once we start a mission here. So let's go to Void Admiral Agrolek, if desired for something or other. Yeah, sure. So we've got to go destroy this guy's war records, and if we do that, we get a solar atomizer, and we get 1730 data. Data is your currency you spend to deploy units, to research stuff, to unlock stuff, etc. This deployment will expire in 5 days. So in the full game, when you start a campaign, there's a certain randomization element, and you have to finish everything you're doing before the entire planet awakens, which I believe is what this is like the death timer of the game. There's a timer similar to that within the mission itself that we'll see in a second. Let's go to launch mission. And this is where we get to choose what troops we bring down in our Arvus lighter fighter, which is a fun thing to say. But okay, just validate. So we take a combination of tech priests and troops, and as you can see, you can unlock more spaces as you carry on. But the troops you bring have costs associated with them. So first of all, we'll worry about tech priests. Let me see if I can determine by their weaponry which ones I want to bring, because I've got 2 that are equipped to be healers. I think he's the one I equipped to be a really good fighter. Let's bring him. Because I mucked around with their gear a little bit. He is my healer, I think. He's my heavy hitter. I also don't know if they're male or female, but whatever. I mean, technically you could just bring all of them, and then bring fewer troops. You could bring 2 troops. In fact, why not? Let's do that. That's going to make it a little bit easier, and they did mention on the title screen there that they're working on balance. Balance definitely needs a lot of work. I also just noticed that my mic is ever so slightly off-center, so if I sounded slightly to the left, I apologise. There we go, it's back where it should be now. So in terms of troops, I've been bringing this big robot, the Castellian robot, because I like the model. I don't have one, but I like the model. He's fine. I also tried bringing this Cataphron, and he is not good because of how much energy, or sorry, how much, I was going to say acquisition, I'm blanking on the word. We'll see once we get in. He needs a resource that's very thin on the ground to use effectively. So what I might bring instead is... Oh, you don't need a... Let's try a ranger. So we'll bring a ranger and... Oh, that's a melee-based one, and that's a gun-based one. I see. But we've got plenty of data left. I'll bring the big thing. I can't resist. It uses up a lot of our... yeah, this is going to cost us 850 to deploy with. We only have 1,000, but that's okay. And then Mechanicals, they are 1 mission use buffs. Hopefully we won't need them. And here's how the story is conveyed. I like the noises. It's just, it is a bit of a shame there's no voice acting, but they are mostly robotic. So anyway, this is us wanting to break in here. These are the people we're talking to here, and they usually argue amongst themselves. One of them talks very machine-like, and one of them has his emotions, but he accesses them on his whim, which is a little interesting and fun. So anyway, data medium library located, presence of Agrolex, war records probable, as I suspected. So we're going to go try and find it. So this is the second stage. You've geared up, you've sent your troops in, so now you're looking at this war table and you're watching your troops progress. I've plotted the location of the chamber. The Skitari are holding the perimeter as best they can, but the Necrons are pushing back hard. Situation conclusion. There's much worth defending. Valuable objectives confirmed. Let us hope that is true. So they're holding the line while our cohort tries to get the way to the target chamber. Yes, and we're after knowledge because they're obsessed with the gathering of knowledge. If a mission's going pear-shaped, you can evacuate up there, and for the purposes of the alpha build, you can also just skip a combat if you want to. Which I appreciated because I got absolutely annihilated in one that I would say was not at all balanced. So we can take a look at the layout. These icons all mean different things. Exclamation marks are events. Those are potential objective locations, because we don't know where it is. And let's see. Those are health events. These are, oh, data events. And that is cognition. I think it's what it was called, cognition point events. So anyway, here's our troop, and we're essentially ordering them where we want to go. We can only go down to here, to the first objective room, so let's try that and see what happens. Analysis processing, analysis complete, imperative follows, acquire it. So he wants us to acquire this, but that's not necessarily what we do, because we have the choice, the ultimate choice is the leader. This chamber contains a slab of glossy glass-like black metal, possibly a repository of data. It might be part of Agrolex's collection of military accounts, so we can return it. Take the slab to return it to our ship. We can reconnoiter. Take the time to thoroughly search the chamber, or we can ransack it. The slab must be a decoy, demolish the walls of a chamber to find the real hidden bounty. I feel like this is probably a fake one because it's right at the start, so I'm going to ransack this time. Last time I just returned it. I don't remember what happened. So we destroyed it, and what happened was we increased Awakening by 2, which is this bar up here. As we progress, it's going to keep on going up. A bit similar to the threat meter in, oh, what was that Inc game? Incorporated something or other, the spy game. I'm blanking on the full title. By the Don't Starve people. Anyway, we can move there and there, no matter where we go we get an event. They also mentioned there's not as many events as they have planned either. A swarm of Necron scarabs crawl around the walls of the chamber. They seem to be engaged in cleaning the tomb and do not appear hostile. So we can observe them from a safe distance, but it might still prove difficult, dangerous. I don't have dyslexia, I promise. Capture some of the scarabs to return as samples, or obliterate them. Let's capture some. Okay, we tried to capture them, failed, and someone lost 2 HP. Unfortunate, because our troops don't have a lot of HP. So this next room might have combat in it, because it doesn't have any other marker. No, but we did reach Tier 1 Awakening. So Tier 1 doesn't do anything, it's just suspicious activity. They're vaguely aware that we're here. Tier 2, they start getting more enemies in combat. Tier 3, you start getting less resources or something, I can't quite remember. And then usually you get a big combat against a Lord, a Necron Lord, and if you defeat the Lord, the watch meter resets. Anyway, we can go down here, or we can go up here. Let's go up here, we'll aim for this objective. It's very close to where we started as well, so it's probably not the actual objective, but whatever. Oh, what is this? An intrusively high-level background data is present in the local noosphere in this part of the tomb, corrupting sensor data and interfering with comms. If left unaddressed, the Xenos-orientated junk data could hamper the cohort's combat effectiveness. Flood the noosphere with masses of junk data to overload whatever is creating the Necron transmission. Sure. It made them more annoyed and more aware of us, but at least we got out without people being wounded. Opportunity detected. Take what we can before moving on to the main data repository. So again, he wants us to take stuff. This time I will say procure it. And that raised them up to tier 2, so now extra units in combat, which could be very bad. We did also get 1 cognition. We'll worry about that once we're into combat though. So our next objective, I'm just debating whether I want to backtrack. I won't backtrack, I'll keep going. We will get into combat in a second. I'm surprised we've gone this far without. Could get some here. Ah, we did. Perfect timing. So now we move into the third stage of the game that I'd like to show you all, which is the combat system. So who have we got as enemy? Oh wow, that's a lot of enemies. Oh, because of the extra enemies already being there. Because last time I did this fight, it was just a couple of Lich Guard. So we've got Lich Guard. Lich Guard, they're very, very irritating because they're immune to melee damage. Flayed one, and an Immortal. And again, if you're familiar with Necrons, you'll know these units. So we start with just our Tech Priests in battle. And the way it normally goes is that after a full turn, there's a new round icon, and at that point you're allowed to call in 1 of your troops. Doesn't matter which one, you can just call in 1. If I brought the right unit, or equipped them correctly, I actually have a unit that can skip that and just bring in a reinforcement instantly. And hopefully I'll be able to do that so we can get the battle in our favour. But anyway, this is just our starting thing, where we just line up our troops. I usually just leave it where it is, so we'll just say start battle and we'll work with it. And then it's turn order. So first of all we have our Explorator, then Secutor, and then Dominus. But the enemies also go in between as well. So, the important thing to note is, a unit can move, and it can shoot or attack with its weapons freely, as long as it doesn't have any of these orange icons next to their name. If they have orange icons, and it doesn't always mean 1, some abilities cost 2, 3, 4, 5, it requires cognition. And there's multiple ways you can get that. By defeating an enemy, you can take cognition from the knowledge you've learned by defeating them. You can send your serval skulls to extract data, or cognition. Cognition is data, essentially. And you can store up to 6. And then you use that to do your various buffs or super powerful attacks. So anyway, we don't really want him over there because the Lich Guard is melee focused and will defend against us. That said, I've got a lot of movement buffs, so I could go after this Immortal. The orange move requires cognition to do so, but I can get a good first smack in here if I'm willing to use my the 1 cognition I've started combat with. So what I'm going to do is move... Ah, he doesn't counter, eh? Interesting. I'm going to move all the way around him there. Use up the 1 cognition I had. It's a big... You can zoom in instantly. There, you can zoom in for like a proper view. I much prefer this view. It's not tactical, but I like how it looks. And we're going to smack him for free. The health there, he's got 18 health. He's got 3 physical armor and 0 energy armor, I believe that is. We're going to smack him. We hit him for 1 damage, which is not very good at all. So what we can do is extract a cognition from him because of one of these spiny Dr. Octopus arms I have equipped. So let's do that. Just stab him for 1 cognition. And then I can also knock him back for free and do 2 damage. Oh, it says it's going to do 0, I guess because he's got melee armor. He needs to be shot to be properly damaged. And finally, as I zoom out a little bit more, we're going to use our Silver Skull, which is free. If we use it against a Necron, we get to know how much HP it has, although because I've killed one already, I already know how much health it has. We can also do additional damage, or we can send it to get cognition from one of the... whatever these are, obelisks. So I'm going to do that. So we have +1 cognition, total of 2. Finally, I'm going to use... well, that takes 1 cognition to use. I am going to do it. You pick an enemy and they have a 75% chance to miss you next turn. So I'm going to do that on him because I'm going to assume they're the one that's going to hit me and end his turn. So the flayed one moved down there. And now we've got you. So he's got a gun that requires 2 of the cognition to fire. It's very, very powerful and it does AoE. But it needs 2, which is unfortunate. Guns also do have limited range. They have line of sight, so if one of your troops is blocking an enemy, you can't shoot it. Let's see. I think I should be able to shoot the Lich Guard from there. So let's walk all the way over there. Ah, also, this is the unit can call in 1 reinforcement for free. I'm also going to use... I should have used this first because it improves his movement, but whatever. So he can do more damage and more crit chance. I'm going to call in a reinforcement, and we're going to call in the big robot, I think. And I'm going to plop the big robot right there. Now, let's see. Is there 1 more cognition I can steal from somewhere? Yes. I'm stealing the 1 cognition so I can fire my big gun. Although, as I've discovered, all troops require cognition to fire their weapons or attack, usually. This robot, if he wants to use his gigantic flamethrower, he has to have 1 cognition. So I can't fire this gun if I want him to shoot because he's my next troop that gets a turn. So in that case, he's out of range. That's unfortunate. I am going to move for free. That was the extra bonus from using the Sanctus canister, so it applies retroactively. That's nice. I'm just going to end his turn. Alright, so we have the robot. He is going to burn. Actually, I might be able to get both of them into 1 burn. Let's change our mind here. Let's see, what kind of arc is that? It's right out his front, so if I move here... I'd hit my own troop as well and do 7 to 9 damage. Or I could ignore the Lich Guard for now and hit those 2. I'm going to do that instead. Oh, so I actually killed the flayed one, but if you're familiar with Necrons, you'll know that Necrons have reanimation protocols where they heal and come back to life. I have to shoot him or him 1 more time for him to be dead forever for the purposes of the fight. If I don't, in 3 turns he gets back up. Also, if I get near his corpse, I can take cognition from it. This will not hurt him, right? Oh, it says it might. Let's try it. Lich Guard have a counter attack in melee range as well. I did do damage to him. It was probably 1, honestly. And then he hits back. They also have a thing where they'll move towards whoever hit them. But because I buffed his armor, he didn't take any damage. If I move away, he'll get an attack of opportunity on me, but I also kind of want all them to be able to shoot the Lich Guard, so I am going to move and let him take a swing. Didn't do any damage anyway because of the buff. I've got 6 physical armor right now. And we'll end his turn. Now then, you have 2 guns that you can fire without needing cognition, which is excellent. But you also don't do a lot of damage. And if I shoot him once, he's going to walk towards me. So I can actually shoot him from here already. Let's see. Let's up your damage. I really dislike Lich Guard. They're so difficult to deal with because of their shields. How much did that do? I missed that. 1 damage, wow. Well, now he's coming closer. Let's shoot him with this. Ignores armor, that one. That was good damage. He is in point blank range though, so he's going to counterattack now. And let's Servo Skull to end on... How much health does he have? 7. Nah, I was going to damage him because some of them have several skulls that deal 1 damage. But I'll just take the cognition because it's more important. It's alright, so he did indeed fire at the person I assumed. 75% chance to miss, so he did miss. Is there any more cognition I can collect? Oh yeah, I can collect it from him. To live guard by him, I'll take that. So now I have 3, I can fire the Volkite Blaster. Which will kill him. Do it. Then, because I have a unit next to him, he immediately had his cognition drained, which gave me back 2, because I got the kill as well. And then we're going to destroy his corpse. 1 Lich Guard dealt with. Sadly, there's another one hiding over there, which is very disappointing. Oh, if I was standing next to him, I could have extracted a cognition point, but that's alright. We don't need to do any of these buffs right now. Let's just end his turn. Now then, you can heal a person if you're next to them, and you were wounded. So let's do our duty and heal our poor Tech Priest. Oh, only healed for 1. It was 1 to 3. And there's nothing... Oh, it deals 1 damage to Necron. Get rid of him. Hopefully, if it still applies. Oh, does it not... Oh, there we go, yeah. Right, so all we have left is a Burning, Immortal, and a Lich Guard that hasn't been touched yet. And we are going to get the chance to bring in a reinforcement soon. So he has something that gives him +1 cognition just every time he gets a turn, which is nice too. I don't really want to block him, so let's do that. Oh, that was good damage. Wow, that must have been a crit. No, it wasn't a crit, just 5 damage. So he didn't quite get to me. We're just going to examine him. Oh, I can't. Oh, wait, there we are. It's up to my armor as well. Can't really do anything else, though. I could walk next to him and smack him, but I don't think it'll hurt him. 2 to 4 damage, and he blocks however much. Yeah, it would do 0. He will get an attack of opportunity. Oh, reinforcements. Again, I forgot. Another Lich Guard. It had to be another Lich Guard, didn't it? Of all the things to spawn. Anyway, we can bring in our... what is this called? Our Ranger, that was it. And we don't want him to fight a Lich Guard because he can't, because he's using a sword. So I guess we'll just... there's not much he can do, unfortunately. Alright, so... You are our melee trooper. Smack him. He only did 1 damage. Smack him. He absorbed the damage. You're not doing very well. What I should have done was improve everyone's damage, but whatever. So anyway, his sword does not need a chance to... Or does not need energy to use, but at the same time he can't do anything yet. This unit can't suffer opportunity attacks. Ah, nice. Later. Alright, well, while we're just mulling things over, I'm going to move him there so he can... I have to use 1 cognition to get 1 cognition. That's not a good deal, so never mind. I'll just share some thoughts. Mechanicus, I like it so far. It feels very early despite it. I mean, it is an alpha build, but it's aiming for a November 15th release, which isn't honestly too far away. I feel like there's a lot of balance issues that need to be addressed. Some of the fights do not feel at all balanced, especially... Oh, he lost some armor. Especially if you've got this bar up, and it goes up really quickly on a mission. Like that, a Tech Priest lost half his HP from 1 strike. 1 strike that was done for free as well. Oh, also you can't use melee attacks in close combat, which is annoying. Now then, Robot. Can't reach him, which is unfortunate. Maybe just come over here and smack this guy, assuming you can. Nope. Roll bad. So the Lich Guard, maybe it's just my own fault or the game's fault for not giving me a bunch of pre-built tech priests that have a lot of armor piercing or armor shredding. But the Lich Guard definitely seem like they need a lot of work. I get that they have shields and that's kind of their thing. There's a jump pack unit that always goes after your weakest troop, so there's nothing you can do about it because they can just jump over everybody. Absorb the damage again. Oh yeah, the movement reduction from Immortal Guns, very irritating too. Please roll a 2. Of course you rolled a 1. And then you died as a result. As I say, Lich Guard are definitely not balanced in the slightest. Kind of ironic, because on the tabletop they're garbage. Let's buff everybody's damage, so hopefully this will get through his remaining armor. Yeah, get into sideways cinematic. Although then I can't see how much damage it's not going to do. I'm lucky it got a crit, because it was going to do 0. So that does give him his big attacks, eh? Destroys armor. Why didn't they get attacks of opportunity? Oh, oh, they are. No, wait, no, that's a counterattack. But he did lose another bit of armor from the counterattack. Or the attack of opportunity, rather. He lost more. And then this is heals, which we don't want. So let's actually maybe get an attack with this unit. I love the cinematic cam, but it's just a shame that you can't really see all the pertinent information at any one time. I hit him for unknown because we haven't scanned him, and then he got one shot. This is why I'm glad that they put in a skip combat. If this is a Lich Guard, I'm very tempted. An Immortal's fine. Sure. Just persist against this guy. Tech Priest gains +1 damage? Yes. Hopefully that'll be enough to get through his armor. That's much better. It sadly absorbed the damage that would have killed him, but whatever. He ain't getting out of that corner until he's dead. And that's him dead as well, finally. Does this deal 1 damage? Nope. In that case, just steal cognition. And maybe heal? Yeah, heal all tech priests. I don't know why the camera went to someone who didn't need healed, but that's okay. I can't use... Oh no, I can use that. It doesn't shoot through my teammate. In that case, do that. So that would have been an AoE if there was anything behind him, but obviously there wasn't. Let's set this one on fire. Don't know why he's facing the wrong way, but whatever. So if you want to pre-order the game, you can do so. It's £22.99 in British pounds, full price. There's a minus 10% off that at the moment, at the time of recording. I don't know if it will still be that case by the time you hear this. And there's a Omnissiah edition that has a few added bonuses for £4 more, I think it was. Machine Spirit enabled, 100% chance to deal critical strike. Yeah, I don't know why it's like warning you like it's a bad thing. Oh, that's the red bar filling up. Yeah, that's a mechanic I didn't realise. I did wonder where that red bar was. I thought it was like overheat. And guaranteed crit chance, as it turns out. He couldn't do anything because he only has a melee weapon. He can't fire that in close range combat. Therefore, he is done. And we're going to kill him with the servo skull of all things. You don't need to finish off the corpses if everyone on the field is dead. So as long as when we get this guy's turn, he finishes off that Necron finally. Doesn't really matter, but that said, I might as well just come over and, hell, steal the cognition, why not? Cognition, I think, like, banks between missions, because you get events that steal it from you. So I don't think it's a bad thing to be doing that. He's dealt with. Your troops don't heal between fights either. So that one that died, he's dead. Steal cognition from him. And then make you do more attacks. This is going to guarantee it. %20 chance to cancel your attack, 40% chance to deal minimum damage, 40% chance to crit. Thankfully we got the crit. So then we go back to the overworld map and we can carry on with our objective. That's the only bit of combat I'm going to show off though, because the fights do take a while. And we got 50 data for doing that as well, and then we move on. And it didn't lower down the overall threat, so it's still going to tick up. But anyway, this is Warhammer 40k Mechanicus. I will link to the Steam store page in the description box below. Again, keep in mind, everything you've seen here today is an alpha build, very subject to change, although it is aiming for a November 15th release. Go check out the Steam store page if you're interested. Keep it on your watch list if you're not sure, see how it does at release. I might come back and take a look at it at release. We shall see. Thank you for watching though, and ta-ta for now.